Hi, I'm Danielle, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever it is I feel like. And today we're going to do something a little bit different, hopefully a new series called We Have Makeup at Home, because we do. We have makeup at home. So, what I'm going to be doing in this series is talking about makeup, mostly palettes, but just makeup launches that kind of excite me and intrigue me. And then I try to shop my stash to see if I can find something that gives me similar vibes. And then in the end, we're going to categorize it into three categories, which is a no, I don't need this palette or this object at all, a soft yes, which basically means, yes, I do want to buy this, but it's kind of a yes, but where yes, but I'll wait for a sale, or yes, but I'm going to kind of wait a couple months to see if it still suits my fancy, or like I'm still thinking about it in a couple weeks. Just giving myself a little bit of a pause. And then finally, an enthusiastic yes. So those are the things that it's already in my cart basically. I already pressed purchase. We're already getting it. And the first thing that we're going to do for this series is the Blend Bunny Psilocybin palette. Yeah, Psilocybin palette. So Blend Bunny Cosmetics is one of my favorite brands. And this is, I think, their one of their latest palettes. They did just recently announce an updated Dollhouse palette, and we're not worried about that right now, especially because I already have the Dollhouse palette. But the Psilocybin palette retails for $52. It contains mattes and duochromes and multichromes, and it's kind of this psychedelic, springy, summer, colorful palette. So, yeah, that's what we're working with. And so I guess first we're going to talk about some ideas I have, because after this, I'm going to recreate this look, which kind of, I think, gives the vibes of that palette. And if I had that palette, this is a look that I think I would do. So, but first we're going to talk about the palettes that I shop my stash to find that I think kind of, maybe they don't give the same exact vibe as that palette color story as a whole, but at the very least, I can grab colors from these palettes to make something similar to that color story. So the first one is Blend Bunny, and it's the Machina palette. I don't know if this one still exists on their website, but when I first saw the psilocybin, I immediately thought of this palette. I think because of like the greens and the blurple row and the pinks, I feel as though the color story is very similar. I'm going to have psilocybin up here so you can kind of see the similarities. And once I opened this and like grabbed this to look, I realized they're not actually that similar. But I think they're friends. I think they came from the same family, they're siblings, at the very least they're cousins, because looking at the newer palette, I think that one is basically just a lighter version of this. Like, I think this is the darker version of the psilocybin palette. So if you've been with Blend Bunny for a while and you like a lot of their stuff and you already have this one, I think, because again, I use this one a lot, I think you can kind of vibe with this and make a look very similar to that one. So that's my first idea. The second idea we have is from Gourmand Girls. This is the Apparition palette. So Gourmand Girls, I've been into that brand a lot more this year. I don't know. I just like it a lot more this year. And the Apparition palette is so pretty. Look at this color story. It's gorgeous. So the thing that made me think of this one, it doesn't have as many of the bright tones, but it has the more muted tones in it. So colors like this almost, this pastel-y kind of seafoam shade. Again, not a dupe, but it does have very similar muted tones. So I think if you used this and something brighter and more colorful, like, again, the Machina palette, I think you can make a little look that's very similar. If you wanted to try a new brand, this one's very nice. I've really been enjoying their shimmers as well. But yeah, this is my second idea. My third idea is from the brand Playing in Makeup by Yolando. This is one of my favorite brands. I know on social media they're going a little bit viral at the moment for their concealer. It's the one that comes in that purple kind of circle compact, and it looks like the most full coverage concealer ever. I have some of those and they're very, very nice. I use them almost every single time I do my makeup to like do my nose contour. But yeah, this is a palette she launched, oh my God, forever ago. I don't remember when she launched it, but I remember being very excited for it and getting it at launch. And that is the Vigorously palette. I love the kind of painterly swirls that almost look like, it looks like a paint palette. Like someone, like, you know, an artist uses a paint palette and this is how they mix everything. I'm getting off topic, but this is a really pretty one. And this, again, not dupes, but this has a lot of those bright colors that I think the Psilocybin palette has. Granted, it has so many more colors, but this one, again, if you pair with something with more of the muted tones, like the Apparition palette, I think we're kind of getting somewhere. But yes, so without further ado, I am going to toss you on over to a little bit earlier when I made this look, walk you through the choices that I made, and then in the end, we'll kind of collect our thoughts and see whether or not this is a strong yes, a soft yes, or a no on whether or not we have makeup at home. Okay, so I just did my brows and now I'm finishing priming my eyelids. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to pop up a photo over here of the palette, and I'm also going to look at it on my phone. But I think what I want to do is that kind of like bluish tone, deepen it up a little bit, and then use the peachy, pinky, orangey thing as an eyeliner, and then even smudge that on the lower lash line. I think I'm going to start off with this color. It's the shade Seance. So I think we're going to start off with that to just give us a little bit, to just put in the crease. We're going to start off with that color. So let's get into it. Let's get into this. This is definitely going to be a trust the process kind of look, I believe, because this already looks a little, I don't know, but yeah, this is how I want to start. I'm so shiny. Don't worry about it. Once the foundation's on, I won't look this shiny. As you can see, this part's done. Don't worry about it. It's going to look fine. It's going to look great. I think I want to go in. I think I want to just kind of go down this row here. So I might use this one to kind of emphasize the crease. And then I'm going to use these for deepening up the outer edge. And I think in the front, I might use a little bit of this more blurply shade. That's what I'm thinking. Whoa, that's really dark. And this is only the second shadow, so I don't think I actually need to go into the darker one. Yeah, this one's really dark. Let me see if doing this lets you see a bit better. You can kind of see a little bit. This looks a little crazy, but it's okay. We're kind of just placing this color here and starting to smudge it out a little bit. Worry not, worry not. Okay, we finished blending this out. So now we're going into this kind of blurply shade, and we're going to put that in the front and the lid, basically. So let's get some of that. Yes. Oh, that's exactly what I want to happen. Oh, that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to add this, and along the way, I might deepen up the outer bit a little bit, but yeah. We're adding the purple. Stop it, that looks so pretty. So this looks absolutely stunning. I made sure when I was deepening up the crease, I just kind of stayed out here because I'm going to put the liner here. So this doesn't need to be as perfect because it's going to be covered up. Now for a shimmer, I think I'm just going to stick in this palette. Do I like this shade? this Immortelle. Oh, no. No. I was not ready for how much I didn't like that. Let's see. The Cyborg shade isn't bad. That's kind of pretty. Yeah, we're going to use this Cyborg shade. Ooh, the way that catches the light is stunning. Oh, that's really pretty. That's actually really stunning. Okay. Look at that shimmer. It's so pretty. Okay, so now we're going to use some paints and a little palette, and we're going to make a peachy kind of line. So I have this Cosmic Paint. I don't know what shade this is. Does this have a shade? Okay, I'm just going to grab a little bit of this, like that much or so. And I'm going to mix it with some red. See what color. Oh, that's so liquidy. Oh no. Okay. Okay. So there's way more red than I thought, but we're going to just use our little spatula to mix these two together. This is actually really close to the color I'm envisioning. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the peach, and then I think that should be perfect. This peachy orange type of situation. I think once I add a little bit of that, it's going to be perfect. That is stunning, and that's going to be used to make a little liner. I have a tiny brush. I'm going to dip in. I'm going to give myself a tiny little wing. Actually, from how I'm doing this, it's not going to be that tiny. Just kidding. I'm lying. I think you can't see me. I'm sorry. But I think me being able to see my wing is more important than you being able to see me. Maybe. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, this color is stunning. Okay. I don't think I breathed that entire time. So let me go do the other eye. But that looks really pretty. I'm going to let this dry down first, actually, because it's still a little bit wet. Then I'm going to use this really pretty peach color that I think matches well to set it down and maybe smoke it out a little. You can see where the red got all over my finger. Oh my God. I'm going to do that. Set this down with this pretty peachy color. And then I'm going to put lashes on, finish up my face, and then we'll be back when it's time to do the lower lash line. So let me go do that. Remember when I mentioned that I was shiny in the forehead? Finally not. So we did all of the, we did the rest of our face makeup. I still have a couple finishing touches to do, like the powders to like fully set everything down, but I don't do that until after I finish the lower lash line. So because I still have so much of this color left, I'm just going to run this along my lower lashes, because I already know the color is a perfect match to the wing that I made. So we're just going to pop that there. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. We're going to pop that there. And then I'm going to use the same small brush I used earlier to really smoke it out on the bottom. So let's finish this up. Okay. Back to this shade called Powerful. And we're going to smudge it on the lower lash line. Let's get into it. I'm going to do it on the side so I can see a little better. All right, I don't think I'm putting anything on the waterline today because I'm not, but I'm going to put something in the inner corner. I don't know what yet, but I'm going to do that, finish up the face. Then I'm going to zoom out and we could talk about how I felt. So I just finished my final touches and I really like how this look turned out. It's really pretty. I love the blue with the pop of the peachy kind of reddish tone. It looks really gorgeous. And I actually think that my final verdict is I don't need to buy this palette. Like, even when I first saw the launch, I immediately thought of the Machina palette, and I was like, I already have that one. I don't need this one. Looking at it side by side with the newest Blend Bunny palette, I can see the differences more starkly. The Machina palette's definitely a lot darker, but I still don't feel as though I have a need for this palette. I was able to create this really pretty look that I feel captured the vibes without having to spend any money. And in fact, it reminded me to use this palette more. Is this a dupe? Absolutely not. But I love how bright and like kind of springy and fun this color story is. And the cover of this is very kind of paint geode something. It feels very it really gets me excited. So I will definitely be playing with this palette a lot more this summer. So that's about it. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time when I talk about something else that I feel like. Bye.